I'm glad. The wound's not too deep. You should be more careful.
I'm sorry, Dad.
If it were a major injury, you'd have to go to the hospital, stay overnight and have surgery.
Wow. So I get to ride in an ambulance? That sounds cool.
On the contrary, that's not cool. If you get a major injury, and you can't stop bleeding, you'd have to have an operation or even a blood transfusion, depending on how much blood you lose.
Oh. That sounds really scary.
You just have to be more careful, Bobby. That reminds me, I saw a news report on the topic of blood powder transfusion products.
Blood powder? Sounds weird.
It sure does, doesn't it? It turns out that using blood powder for transfusions can save even more lives than ever before.
What do you mean?
Well, blood transfusions are an important, life-saving medical procedure for many people. However, blood transfusions come with challenges. For example, when patients lose a lot of blood and are in mortal danger, they need to be transported by ambulance or even helicopter. Transfusions are done after they arrive at the hospital, not on site, because the plasma needed for transfusions is frozen.
Oh? I didn't know that. How can blood transfusions be done right away?
Well, that's why blood powder was developed. By drying blood and turning it into a powder, we don't need a freezer. So that greatly extends its shelf life and makes it easier to transport. It also allows for quicker blood transfusions.
Wow. It sounds like it's really useful.
You're right. It is. In medical emergencies caused by natural disasters and accidents, where blood is needed immediately, blood powder is very useful. When providing medical support to areas where transportation and medical care are not well developed, or when rare blood types are needed, long-term shelf-life blood powder is considered essential.
Interesting. Blood powder must really help a lot in those situations. How exactly is blood powder made?
Actually, it's made using a vacuum. A vacuum is a state of atmospheric pressure in which there is almost no air. When blood is placed in a vacuum environment, water evaporates instantly, and blood dries on ice. That's called self-freezing, and it works like magic. Compared with conventional vacuum freeze-drying, self-freezing can freeze blood much faster. Blood dried on ice forms small particles. So in a vacuum environment, drying time can be reduced. The dried powder becomes like cotton ball, with uniform diameter. Blood powder is still under development, but it's a technology that will attract more and more attention in the future.
So, what once seemed impossible is now possible. That's amazing. I bet medical care will be much better in the future.
That's right, it will be. I'm glad that you're interested in scientific and technological advancements. In the future, you'll be someone who can contribute to the development of medicine. And I hope that one day many lives around the world will be saved by blood powder. Well, that wound will heal nicely. You can go play again. Just be a bit more careful.